Hey everyone, welcome back to Haunt After Hours, where we pay tribute to the work, chaos, and fun that go on behind the scenes in the haunt industry. I'm Heartless Heather, and I'm here with Big Ant.
Hello, everyone.
Director Gary.
Hi.
And we have some guest stars for a little bit for today's episode. I've got Rennie Mae,
which is Nibbles.
She plays Nibbles in her haunt. And I've got Kenslyn. We call her Lala. Everyone say, hey, Lala.
Hey, Lala. Lala, what do you play in the haunt?
I play as the scary girl at the scary house.
The scary girl at the scary house? You do a good job, too, don't you?
And me and Corynn are zombie girls.
They're hybrid girls.
Yeah.
Half zombie, half human. Their mothers were human and turned zombie while pregnant, right?
And then we turn into zombie May babies.
They're zombie May babies. All right, today we are going to be talking about opening night in the haunt industry. But before we get into that, Big Ant, share with us your boo of the week.
Okay, so this is going to be our last week here of our 10 laws. 10 laws left, I'm sorry. Let's start with Delaware. You guys aware that whispering in church is illegal in Delaware?
So no whispering, just
talking?
Yeah,
you just scream.
No
just scream it out. Just scream it out. Hallelujah!
Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
You guys would fit right in. They definitely are not quiet in church.
Right? So the law aims to maintain reverence and silence during religious services. So actually, you can't scream it out. You just got to sit there and look cute.
In Delaware.
Can you do that?
Do you know where Delaware is?
Is it like in New York City? No, I can.
Delaware is a state.
I just want to act creepy.
You're just gonna
act
creepy?
I want to act creepy.
Well, let's just not take you through Delaware.
Yeah, maybe
that's probably just going to be best, all right? Our next one, Connecticut. Pickles must bounce in order to be considered safe for human consumption.
I've seen where you put the eggs in the vinegar and they come out and they are bouncy. So
oh, really?
I've never tried to bounce a pickle, so now Kason is our pickle connoisseur.
This unusual rule comes from the story dating back to the 1940s when officials wanted to ensure the quality and freshness of pickles sold in the state. They devised a test, and the pickle doesn't bounce when dropped from a certain height, then it isn't fresh enough. And that's how they meet the standards in Connecticut. I wonder how they tell if a kid is good.
You're bouncing from the top. I have one that does bounce, we've learned, because he has fallen from the top.
All right, next goes to Colorado. It is illegal to keep a couch on your porch in Colorado. In California, you have a right to sunlight. Did you know that? You actually do.
It is the sunshine.
Yes.
State, right?
Yes. So in California, there is a law that protects the right of residents to access sunlight for their laundry needs. This law guarantees tenants the right to hang clotheslines to dry their laundry outdoors. The law aims to promote energy efficiency, sustainability, and cost savings.
Well, I need to have a discussion with my old apartment complex because they really frowned upon us putting anything outside.
Right? I don't think a lot of apartment complexes would just allow you to be putting laundry out there. So I don't. It doesn't say if this is still an inactive law. So I think it must be.
I'm thinking. So if it has to do with energy conservation,
right? Exactly. Yeah, because it speaks in here a little bit about gas dryers. And the fact that California has sunny weather 78% of the year, so it allows, it's the perfect conditions, really. So, anyways, evidently it is a law in California. Continuing in California, did you know that women are not allowed to drive a car while wearing a housecoat?
Shouldn't be driving at all.
Why is that a thing?
What?
I beg to differ. We've been in a pretty big tiff with Chris today over the way he's been driving, so I think that...
He does that a lot. You wear your coat while you're driving.
So, I'm just saying... so this is a house coat, baby doll. Not just a regular coat. Says in California, an unusual law prohibits women from driving a car while wearing a housecoat. The law may seem outdated and restrictive, as it was likely rooted in traditional views of proper attire for public activities. A housecoat, typically considered casual long wear, may have been deemed inappropriate for driving in public. It doesn't say it's inactive. It's just
So don't drive in your house coat.
don't drive in your housecoat, Heather.
Do it.
Try
We'll turn
well,
you in.
let me tell you something. Way I was probably like just out of high school, and there. Did you learn in driver's ed? Do you remember learning like you can't drive barefoot?
No.
Oh, we learned it was like a big thing, like, and we had to have a whole lesson. Like, if you're in an accident and you're driving barefoot, you can actually be fined for it. Now, I don't know if it's a law or if it's just what our driver ed teacher told us. I never heard it, but I do know I had to go pick up my brother, and I could not find my shoes. Had him by the door, I couldn't find him at the time, and they're telling me that you're gonna be late. You gotta go get him. So I just thought, well, I'm not getting out of the car, and the school's just right around the corner. I'm just gonna go. But I made the comment like, I'm gonna get pulled over, and I don't have shoes on, and I'm gonna get fined. You guys are gonna be mad about it. Sure as shit, I pull away from I get from the high school to our driveway, like we're in our driveway, and the cop comes behind me and turns his lights on. And I'm thinking, what in the world? And I'm nervous because I'm not wearing shoes, because I was told in driver's ed that you had to wear shoes, and it was a crack that was in my window. That,
what did he say about your shoes?
nah, he didn't say nothing about my shoes, so I don't know, but I remember just being so afraid. And
What shoes?
I know. Yeah. And normally I would never. I'm not a barefoot person, so I would never leave.
I don't know why
shoes.
What is the purpose of the shoes? What was the deal?
I don't.
I don't
It's
know.
something like honestly.
Because you can drive without legs.
Yeah.
I mean, you got handicap controls.
Dave could do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I honestly, maybe he was just scaring us. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna look that up too.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I've had my shoes off plenty of times. You leave the lake or whatever,
She told
right?
me-
You got sand on you. You don't want to put on any shoes.
Right?
She
My-
made a whole lesson of
I can grip the brake and gas pedal a lot better barefooted than I can with shoes on.
I don't know.
So I didn't know about this house coat thing, but I was told about. It says there are no federal laws requiring drivers to wear shoes. It is legal to drive barefoot in all 50 states, but there is something about California. Contrary to popular belief, driving barefoot is not illegal in California. In fact, it is legal in all 50 states and in the District of Columbia. However, it was taught in the Golden State not to drive without shoes.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Why though? That's
I'm gonna keep
curious,
reading.
but anyways, all right. Well, okay. So the next law. Did you know that it is illegal to mispronounce the name of the state, Arkansas?
Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Arkansas. It's
Stop.
yeah, it's illegal to mispronounce the name of the state, Arkansas. In Arkansas, there's a law that makes it illegal to mispronounce the name of the state. The correct pronunciation is Arkansas.
Why is there an S at the end? Arkansas.
Why did they spell it so closely?
I don't
Obviously
know.
that's messed with everybody's heads, I'm sure, at one
W.
point or another, but why?
All the way
Spell
back.
that
It says the law was established in 1881, aims to preserve the cultural integrity and identity of the state for the initiated. It's a simple mistake to make, so watch your mouth.
Ooh, I'm saying that there.
Yeah.
They'll get me.
I got the shoe thing. Lack of grip. The lack of grip can be fail for proper control of the vehicle and difficulty in braking and accelerating. It can be challenging to apply appropriate pressure on the pedals. I don't know.
I feel like I can argue that both ways.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I just don't know.
It's not a law anyway. Why
Yeah.
worry about it?
Yeah.
Right?
Just don't wear your house coat.
Exactly. And don't say Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
All right. In Arizona, cutting cactus. Arizona law recognizes the significance of the cactus and has established regulations and safeguards to its existence. So the Arizona Native Plant Administration, administered by Arizona Department of Agriculture, governs the protection and management of the cacti. Under this law, it is illegal to harm, collect, dig, or transplant.
Well, I heard the cactus are actually going away. The cactus you see in cartoons you got the tall middle, and you got arms sticking out like that.
Look like they're ready to walk.
Yeah, yeah. What I've understood is those are starting to die out, and I don't know the reason.
Because people going digging them up.
Well, yeah, don't be digging them up then.
I guess,
they're
or cutting them
like,
down.
if that's
you,
gonna
like-
mess up the food chain. or
If you
something.
like live in a desert, did you guys make that like the plant it fills up with water, so that's why
Yep, that's
You gotta
the-
talk louder. Say
she's
that
saying
again.
If you live in the desert,
like if you live in the desert, like the what's it called?
the cactus.
Cactus?
Like whenever it like or like something from the sky, or I think it's rain, but it makes the cactus have water. And,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
It stores
I believe
its
it.
own water.
Yeah.
Oh.
The
So if you
cactus
get
So if there-
thirsty, you cut a chunk off and drink it.
Well, you have to wait like.
Oh, you can't do that, and you
like,
can't do that.
Like,
Nope, you're gonna die of thirst in
Like
Arizona.
Yeah, you can't cut them in Arizona. You just gotta keep on going to your next mirage.
Just gotta die.
Before you go on to your next one, pronounce the state next to us that starts with an N. Right now we're in California.
Nevada.
Pronounce it.
Nevada.
Pronounce it.
Nevada.
Some people say Nevada.
Oh, I've heard of Nevada.
Yeah, it's wacky.
Oregon.
Speaking of, yeah.
There's
How do
a
you say
girl
that
in
one?
Nevada.
Oregon.
Oregon. Yeah. Like an organ in your body.
I guess it is Oregon.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna mispronounce words, let me ask you this. You know those adult diapers that people wear?
Depends.
Say that again.
Depends.
Depends.
How do you say it, Gary?
Depends.
How do you say it?
Deepens.
She
Deepens.
didn't, she didn't know. She didn't
Do
even
you know that there's no S on the end of it?
Oh, there isn't? It's just
There is
depends.
not.
But yeah, but
No.
you're going to go by depends, like multiple.
You can
plural.
say that all you want. This was a big discussion I heard on the radio not too long back.
Like diaper itself doesn't have
I've
an
always
S at the
referred
end
to
of
it
it.
as
We're gonna go
depends
by
also, but
diapers.
it is actually
Yeah.
depend. If you they pulled up the commercial on it and she said it as depend.
Interesting.
Yeah, nobody ever calls it that, but
Oh.
Speaking of diapers, sorry to sidetrack. We went to I went to Target the other day, and I was trying to get diapers for my 2-year-old. Well, he's in pool. We got him some pull-ups, and I was all excited because he's really into Spider-Man. So I was like, I found these Spider-Man diapers or pull-ups. They were not for kid sizes. They're for bigger kids. I mean, I get it. Like
Adults?
Bigger
there are like
kids.
probably handicapped adults that maybe like get excited about. Like I get that, but I was so excited and I couldn't find Spider-Man anywhere for a little baby. They don't sell them, and that's his favorite character.
why do you have to be mentally what's the
I
matter?
think
Well,
there's
I'm just
probably
saying,
a lot
yeah.
of adults,
Spider-Man,
especially
yeah.
men, are like, I got Spider-Man
Just saying.
underoos on.
Spider-Man, you didn't pick some up anyway?
I guess so. I should have got some for Chris. You're
Yeah, he would
right.
have loved this. He'd be like, "Oh, these are ridiculous," but deep down, he'd be like, "Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. You mean I can just go in these?
I know Chris enough to know that he's not going to say, yeah, this was ridiculous. He's just going to come right out, yes,
Wearing them.
yes. I'll go put them on right now.
Yeah, he does that. We've taken him shopping before, and he has bought underwear, like everything, shirts, clothes, and in the back seat of the van or whatever we had at the time, it had 3 rows, and we had my cousin with us, and he changed head to toe in new underwear. Everything was changed. They were new. He has to try them on, wear them, and
oh gosh.
Nice. Okay. So, our boo of the week? All right. In Arizona. Were we in Arizona? Yeah, let's continue into Arizona. Donkeys cannot sleep in bathtubs in Arizona. Yes.
Why would they?
I don't know why they would, but they can't. So they shouldn't.
They should
In Arizona, there's a law that makes it illegal for donkeys to sleep in bathtubs. This odd rule dates back to the 1920s when a rancher's donkey found a cozy spot to rest in a bathtub. Unfortunately, the bathtub was washed away during a flood, leading to a costly search and rescue operation. So it was during a flood, the donkey got swept away, and they had to try to rescue it.
Wait,
I could just imagine that
wait.
donkey. It's like a boat for the donkey. Just
Wait,
my
wait.
donkey, and just
But the fact that it
floats away.
the fact that it would like have a flood in Arizona is wild.
I'm just saying, okay, so every time something strange happens, we're going to make a law out of it,
Yeah.
because, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
that is we own a house in the middle of the desert, and we have to keep flood insurance on it, so it happens.
Oh, in
Flood.
Nevada?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's true.
And it's actually a law too, and it's how often does it really flood? Like, I mean, I guess it's at the bottom of a valley, so
Yeah, you're kind of like in the valley and surrounded by mountains there, so
Yeah.
probably more often than people
More like
think.
icebergs.
So we're going to move up to Alaska. You cannot push a live moose out of an airplane in Alaska.
How
People
big those
had to
things
do
are.
this before.
Those things are huge.
How are you even getting the moose in the airplane?
I don't know why you would have it in there. It says in Alaska, a peculiar law prohibits pushing a live moose out of an airplane. You know it had to have happened before. Something stupid.
Right.
Some
But
idiot.
It specifies live, so if it's dead, it's okay. Like,
I don't know.
I should tell Uncle Bob that real quick.
I would just think don't be pushing any mooses out.
They didn't say anything about a parachute, did they? They just said pushing it out of a plane.
Just crazy. Believe it or not, this unusual regulation addresses concerns for both the welfare of the moose and the safety consideration of people on the ground. Really?
Maybe it's like couch.
I don't believe that. Believe it or
Moose
not.
pushing.
And it still doesn't give me any reason as to why this law is in effect.
Because some idiot was flying a plane and had a moose in there. and
Yeah,
Dumped
exactly.
it over the ground.
Exactly. Have you seen a moose? Have you ever
They're
seen a
huge.
moose? Oh, yeah. Janice, when she was stationed in Alaska, we had one that stayed right outside the hotel where we were living, when we were staying. And, that thing was at least 15 feet tall. I mean, it was just humongous. Yeah. You had to be real careful when leaving the hotel to make sure you didn't interact with it.
No, I heard their name.
No, this one was. I mean, it stayed its distance, but still. So our last one, this is going to finish up our series here for a little while, and we're going to move on to regular booze. But our last one, in Alabama, it is illegal to wear a fake mustache that causes laughter in church.
Oh my goodness.
Who would do that?
Somebody got
I don't
real
know.
mad.
Somebody did. It's a law. It is a law.
Enough
Somebody-
people had to do it.
Right.
Or someone was just really making a point about one person doing
That's
it.
fair.
That's just
Somebody
crazy.
got real upset at somebody.
So, again, it gives me no background, so you guys can just look those up or just stay out of Alabama, whatever. So, that's it for my segment for this week.
That was a good one.
All right, before we move on, we're going to do a little interview with Corynn. Corynn has been a haunt actor for what? Since
Most of her life.
Like for 9 years.
9 years, yeah, most of your life. And what the last few years you've played the same character, and so tell us about your character.
So, technically, I'm supposed to be a,
You know what? Stand up, Corynn, because I'm having a little trouble hearing you, and this thing doesn't want to move for me.
so
There you go.
technically what I'm supposed to be is a dog,
A dog?
like a clown dog, kind of.
Oh, okay. So do you channel?
I don't think I ever knew that.
I don't think I knew that either.
I don't know.
Are you channeling an inner clown dog in your character? Is that what you're doing?
I don't know what it was.
Sure, when she comes out, she is kind of dog-like when she is in
She's
character.
crazy, and she goes after
there was a cage,
people.
and because I'm crawling, like,
Oh, because they keep her in a
So
cage.
you-
or
so
like
you're-
a hamburger, like.
So you're half wild animal, half kid.
Yeah, kind of like that.
yeah.
So, or like, let's just say zombie slash.
She does. So and then you started this year. You started actually attacking people.
Oh yeah.
And she likes to do that. She became line entertainment, running up and chase.
Yeah, I made a lot of money doing that.
You made a lot of money doing that. Are they tipping you?
Like, yeah, one of them paid me $20.
Oh my goodness!
20 bucks?
Oh, wow.
Are they saying, "Hey, go get my friend"? And
No, so.
Or to
one of
get
them-
away from them.
One of them, they came up. They're like, "Hey, I'll give you $20 if you go scare my friend over there."
Really?
Two of them came up, and they're
wow.
like, "Here." And I said, "Okay."
How fun! So you're not like your brother, because your brother was offered money to go and scare people, and he's like, "No, not it's got to be authentic. I'm not doing it if it's not authentic."
Heck no.
Like,
Corynn's like, give me that money.
He's like,
She's more like her poppy, huh?
That's
But,
funny.
The
So what do you see? What do you see your character doing in the future? Because
probably-
you're growing up, you're no longer going to be able to be a little girl in the cage forever.
So what I'm thinking is like, last 2023, there were these two girls who did that scene where that butcher scene in the haunted house, and I was thinking I could dress up like them, but be something different. Like,
Oh, so you want to change your character
So-
altogether?
in Tennessee, where we did that thing, there were this one room where it had flashing TV, and there was a little cradle with somebody inside, and I would get I don't know, but That's
You're thinking you want to do some kind of room like that?
Yeah.
And do something like that? I've always been afraid of that noise that's on the TV. The zzz. They don't know it now, but you know it. We know it because the static noise.
Static, yeah.
I hate the noise that the Amber Alert.
Oh, she does. She actually does. When the phones go off and she knows exactly what it is. It's either hurricane, Amber Alert,
Right.
or
I hate that noise too
earthquake.
because nothing good comes from that.
Yeah.
But speaking of noises, I seen a picture of you on the internet the other day standing next to an antique.
I know.
And you picked it up and heard a strange noise, huh?
Yes.
What was that antique?
What were you on when we went to the beach the other day?
Oh,
What What is it called?
it's called a telephone.
It's called a telephone.
It was a payphone.
It was
huh?
a payphone.
And they used to be a dime to make a phone call. How much was it to make a phone call?
25 cents.
No, it wasn't.
50 cents.
It was 4 quarters.
4 quarters.
That's
Oh.
a dollar.
quarters.
50 cents is a dollar, right?
No, Corynn, 4 quarters is $1.
Friend, you know better than that, girl.
So it was 4 quarters to make a call. Tell us what happened. What happened in the What happened when you picked it up? The lady asked you, "Does that work?"
So there's a lady with her little dog. She asked, "Does that work?" And then I said, "I think so, but we don't have any quarters." She's like, "Wow, they used to."
Well,
be.
you didn't say you think so. You said it's just I don't think it's working. It's just making. What sound was it making?
Just making that.
She said, the lady said, does that actually work? And she goes, I don't think so. It's just making a sound. It's a dial tone. They didn't know what the dial tone was. And then she said, well, it's going to need 4 quarters. The sign said 4. Yeah, I remember when it changed from a quarter to 35 cents, and it was a big deal.
It was an inconvenience.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have a dime.
Right, that's what I said. I remember when it was a dime. So, back in the day, so that we'd go to the fair or whatever, and of course we didn't have cell phones, right? So it was like, and you don't have a dime, you don't always have a dime. We were just little kids. We'd call collect, and then when it asked for your name, you would just say something like, "Come get me," or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So then when they broke into your parents, when they asked, will you accept charges from "Come get me"?
Yeah.
They knew that was their tone.
We ought to maybe it's a boy. I remember when it went up. So the difference between Chris and I don't know. Like I guess I didn't live as sheltered of a life as I think I did because I was talking to him and I was like, do you remember when it went from a quarter to 35 cents? He's like, why would I have ever had to use a payphone? And I was like, oh, you didn't just go down to the corner gas station and prank call your friends? Like that wasn't something you were. You're like, no, we weren't allowed to leave our street. I was like, oh. All right, Corynn. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on with us today. Thank you so much. She's gonna go get ready because she's got pictures with Santa this afternoon, so she's got to shower and shave and all.
All right,
things.
Nibbles.
Bye.
But
Bye.
as she's leaving, we got a surprise.
Hug, hug. Oh my gosh.
Nanny Jenny's back.
Yeah, she made it.
Hey y'all.
She made it.
Life is crazy. Oops. Life is crazy. I would have been here on time, but we had those rescue puppies, and as I was on my way back, one of the ladies called me and said, "Hey, is this the lady that had the puppies?" I'm like, "Yes." She goes, "Where are you? Can I get one still?" I'm like, "Where are you?" I'm coming from Turlock, but I'm by the truck stop. I'm like, truck stop? Well, apparently it was the rest stop, not the truck stop. Because I'm like, I have no idea. Anyway, so we managed to home 2 rescue puppies for the holidays. So
Nice.
I'm excited about that.
So what do you do with the rest? Just throw them out of the back of the truck on your way home?
The heater is going. The seat warmer's on. They're comfy.
Oh,
Lola's looking for them too. She's like, "Hey, well, now you can love on me more." Lola, go
we'll
play,
go
please.
throw them out after the podcast.
Too bad the canals aren't full.
I'm so excited, and I have the story I've been waiting to
There's so
share
many
with you
listeners.
guys. What? Did I miss something?
We've just been saying inappropriate things.
Go.
We had Corynn and Lala on the podcast, and it was just a little
I
bit.
can't wait to see it.
Well,
Go lay down.
Lala got sick of it pretty fast. She's like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Lay down. Okay, so last week I started the show about the black holes, and oh my gosh, did anybody read on them? I watched a little bit of your frog movie, couldn't do it.
You couldn't watch frogs?
Because I watched it 30, 40 years ago, whenever, no, Gary.
No.
I'm gonna watch it one of
Oh, I
these
thought you
days when
did.
It's not bad.
I retire.
It's
I'm
not
gonna
bad.
watch them.
It's not bad if you want to watch, something. That
How many
reminds
stars was it?
5.
5
Yeah.
stars, Janice.
Yeah.
5.
You don't get any better than that.
I'm telling you, Gary. No,
I think you're the odd one. I think
am
you're the odd one out
I
here.
am the
It
odd
was just
one.
too scary.
It wasn't scary. It's just creepy.
It's mind-numbing garbage.
Yeah, okay, there you
I
are.
love it.
Mind-numbing.
I
Yes.
love it.
Yes. It's a movie that creepy Kaysen can be entertained with for a long time. I really believe that. I think you guys have so much in common. The more we're around you, Gary. Dark Hole Stories. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have my
Are you jumping order right now?
Oh, am I jumping? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
I'm just so excited because I thought it was late.
It's okay. Go ahead. Nanny Danny, share with us your paranormal story of the
I'm embarrassed now. Okay. So I was telling you the story about the black holes. There is, I knew from reading that there was a lot of sightings of these black holes, these nothingness. But there is a story, and Roseanne and Jim, they had a black hole in their backyard, like above their swimming pool, and it was like a little bit, like it was a blob to them. And did you read the story?
No, but I just read an article saying there's probably black holes everywhere, but they're just so tiny we don't see them.
Yeah. Well, theirs they didn't see it all the time, just periodically.
Only when they
And
jumped
then
off
it
the high
seemed like
dive.
it got bigger and bigger, and then the one they questioned, like, oh my goodness, is this demonic? Is this scientific? Is this, what is this? And kind of embarrassed to say something to other people because maybe people wouldn't want to come over if they thought their place was haunted or whatever. And that kind of reminded me of this one. And they had talked to a deacon, a friend that was a deacon in the church, because I don't know if they are now, involved with the church, and he was going to get in touch with the pastor. So it must not have been a Catholic church because it wasn't a priest. Anyways, they said he was going to get back with them, but if they had concern, to say a prayer, and I'm not for sure what the prayer was. I'm thinking it's something like, I bless you with the blood of the Lamb, go towards the light. I'm really not for sure. But anyways, they were outside enjoying the backyard, and the hole was there, and he picked up a pebble to throw it into the black hole to see what happened. As he picked it up, she said, "Don't throw that. If that goes in the pool and gets stuck in the filters." Well, he threw it. It never went kaplunk into the water. How creepy is that?
It went somewhere.
Yeah. So are they waiting, for it to come?
So on the other side of the earth, some little kid got beaten by a rock.
Yeah. What would you do? Like, what? Really? What? No.
Stay off the high dive.
And so, anyways, they said their prayer, or was it the saying that they were supposed to say. But I guess the hole, about the time he threw that rock, it closed up. So I don't know scientifically if it's because something filled that mass, and it up, or what. But so then they did have the pastor had came out a couple weeks later. Why so long? I'm really not for sure. But they never
Busy.
seen the
Got things
hole
going
again.
on.
So it makes you wonder. Yeah, he had things.
There's
going
black
on.
holes
It's the
everywhere.
holidays. Yeah,
You had to go look at.
so it makes you wonder. Okay, did it, because it was a mass or lack of, because something went in there? Did that cause that to?
I don't know.
Or
I
was
wish,
it demonic and the words that they said?
I wish I would have sent you that article that I read, but it was saying more than likely there's black holes everywhere.
Yeah.
They're just so tiny we can't see them.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
in a various
What
sizes.
I looked up a little bit of what you were sharing last week, and I don't know that I don't know that you're reading scientific articles.
I didn't know. I'm telling you, I don't know if I'm reading scientific articles. There was some that was
More like
back.
science fiction article.
Yeah, but there was some that was saying scientific studies and USA and what have you not. So I don't
think-
know what I'm reading, and I don't know what I'm sharing. I just know it's creepy, and I want to know more. But I'm afraid of anything demonic that might really happen. But curiosity's got the best of me, and it's like you start reading, and I say reading but I'm not reading through the pages. I'm actually doing this on
Scrolling
the
through
phone.
TikTok.
Yes, not TikTok.
No, that's how I get my information.
Oh, try Google. Google. It's the internet. Yeah. it's on the internet, so it must be true. But with the places that it can take you, I mean, just it's amazing.
Yeah, when I was doing some of the research, and it, like, I don't know, like, there's a lot of scientific evidence for black holes that are in the sky, but I'm not really reading anything that's, like, on Earth. So your things were black holes on Earth?
Yeah, that was the article I read, and they said they're probably really, really common. Like I said, I wish I would have shared it with you guys. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, oh, that's neat. But
we were just talking about it last week, but
apparently they're like itty bitty, tiny, and they're like everywhere.
Maybe that's what keeps us here instead of keeps us from.
That's where flies
I wonder.
come from.
I wonder if it's kind of like space between pixels on a computer screen. That's what keeps everything.
Here.
There's somebody right
makes
now yelling
sense.
at me. That's not how pixels work.
Well, let me tell you, I'm thinking that you've been hearing about you guys been following the alien stuff or no?
In New Jersey?
No, just like, okay, so you've been following the water stuff?
The water stuff.
So my understanding is we've gotten them, they've admitted to knowing about intelligent life, or like outside of humans, outside of what we know, but it's not coming from space like we think.
Under the ocean.
Under the ocean. So,
That's crazy.
so what I'm thinking, and I don't know if I'm accurate or not, and I obviously, but we're seeing stuff come from the sky, and we're getting acknowledgement of stuff being in the ocean. I really think we're at the end of, like, this is the end of times for sure. So y'all better get right with.
I feel like you need that megaphone and your sign. We're
going to see her on a street corner. The aliens! It's the end!
I don't know. I'm
coming
just
from the
telling
ocean.
you. And then, like, the wharf, Santa, like, it's all underwater. Like,
Oh yeah, what happened with that?
and they're gonna say shifting. What are they gonna say?
What?
The surge,
Global
the
warming,
storm surge, but
glacier melting.
It's gotta be the aliens coming up from the ground, like causing chaos.
No, when the ocean goes to
Surge, the storm surge.
no.
Is what, that's
Tsunami.
what I read.
Oh, it
It's
took
the
that
storm
thing
surge.
out of, broke up the Santa Cruz boardwalk.
and took buildings with it
I
apparently.
saw it. There's people
Oh, I
stuck.
haven't seen any of it yet. But
Oh, it
now
washed
I
up on the beach, it looks like.
No, it washed part of the wharf. There's buildings floating in the ocean.
Oh, yeah, but I think it washed back onto the shore after a while.
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
Was anybody killed in that?
I don't know, but I don't think so. Possibly. But I know there were some workers out there, because you saw their, I don't know, whatever piece of equipment they had. I don't know if it was a backloader or whatever, but it was floating on the dock, and there was some guy out there just kind of like, get me.
That would be one of us.
Alright.
It happens. Come get me.
It's weird though. I've probably you guys too, but I've been in that building. Like I've been
Yeah.
around that building. I'm like, oh wow, it's so weird to see.
Yeah. Yeah, what caused that? You think
The
something-
aliens.
That's what I was
It's
just
the
gonna say.
aliens, I'm
Heather.
telling
But the
you.
aliens are not coming from outer space, they're coming from the water. That's
I
your
don't
thought.
know. That's
Or
what
they're
we're
coming
hearing.
from black holes.
That's what I was going to say, through the black
yeah.
holes.
I haven't seen anything. I will say this, in what I've done in the last couple weeks, I probably only have maybe 4 hours into reading. But you get sucked down a rabbit
Yeah.
hole, and then another one, and another one. I'm sorry, I said 4 hours. Probably more than that, because it seems like every night that I pick up reading, and then I'm like, I have to quit. But I have not read any articles where it said that anything has come out of
Neither
those
have I.
black holes. Just things going in and not coming back out.
Nah.
I've heard of things not going into the black hole. There's like an event horizon, and the stuff just circles the black hole. But I don't know. I'd have to do more research on it.
So I wonder now, with the way when I was reading it, when I seen the black holes, I'm thinking, okay, you're walking in the black holes this way. But now I wonder, is it this way?
I think it'd be multiple ways.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't matter. If you've seen a black hole, let us know. Because you've seen one that was like this, huh?
The one I seen was like this.
No, Lola.
But
No,
like I
baby.
said, it was very digital. But I was in real life. I wasn't digital. Gary says it's some kind of. I didn't see it floating in the side of my eye. I seen it point blank right in front of me.
You said you just seen dust in your eye.
Oh.
Oh, crazy.
I have had. This has nothing to do with seeing black holes, but I have had where my eye will just get blurry on one side, and this was not that. This was not that.
That's
Oh,
not,
that's
this
a
was a black hole. You
Medical problem.
Yeah,
Macular degeneration.
Do we need to keep telling you that every episode?
Now that I believe.
Why don't you just go get checked?
There, no, the difference is all I'm getting at. I've seen them both, felt them both. I get it.
Crazy.
All right,
Okay.
so we're talking about opening night this week. We are 40 weeks away from opening night. So what are things that we can do as an industry to be ready for opening night? That tends to be... Gary was kind of making a joke of, we're making a movie right now, and a few weeks ago he's like, when we're watching this movie, he's like, they're going to get better as they go on, but we don't want that to be the film, like, oh, the actors got better as they went on. You want them good from the start, right? You wouldn't watch a movie where the actors get better. But in the haunt industry, it tends to be like, in the beginning, it's just not as good as it is the last weekend. So what are things you can do to make it as good as the last weekend? What are you guys' thoughts?
Returning
Nothing.
actors,
Nothing ever.
returning cast members, and dress rehearsal.
I think you need more than just a single dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
The problem is you start getting into a lot of people are not like paying their cast members to come in for the rehearsals, or if they are, I don't know, I feel like you start getting into like payroll issues, so you got to make sure that if you have them come in, you're compensating them for their time. But definitely, I think that you need more practice. But a lot of times, anything that can go wrong is going to go wrong on opening night. That's an industry as a whole. This last year, we had a horrible opening night. We did actually a friends and family night beforehand, and I do recommend that everybody do a friends and family night before you open to the public. And I think that's the night we had most of our issues, right?
Yeah.
With the friends and family
Yeah.
night.
Yes.
But we had
From fuel issues to
That's the biggest
Dress
thing
issues,
is you've got to, if you know that you're opening on a Friday night, your build has to be done Thursday.
Yeah.
And it never is with us, and that's the most frustrating thing for me because
I
it
think they
just
need to
seems
shoot
like
for the weekend before.
it
Like,
just
have a
right,
stop
exactly.
opening
It
the
just,
weekend
but I
before.
mean, worst case scenario that Thursday, you've got to be 100% ready to roll, and not 30 minutes after the gates open.
Right.
That's the most frustrating part.
I do think that a good I had post this out there on some of the haunt groups, and one of the things that I really liked that I seen was that they at 7:00 on the dot they do what is it called where you
countdown.
yeah, like a countdown,
Yeah.
but they charge the customer. So they do a countdown, they have an opening ceremony essentially.
Right.
And I've seen that done like in Universal, we've seen it done.
Yeah.
In Turlock, we did that a couple
We've done that in Turlock. When we tried to do it this year at the end of the season, and then we had some of our cast members who've been with us forever who were like, I've never seen this before. We're like, we used to do it all the time in Turlock. But I think if you get your actors they have to be there for that opening, and not everybody has to be front and center charging the customers. But one, it builds synergy for the customers, and it builds synergy for the actors. Like, they're already in character before they get back into their scenes.
Right.
So I think that that's something that's really cool that people should probably implement from day one into their haunt is doing this.
Where they
The thing
interact
is
with the front line.
The tough part with that is it's really for the busier nights though, because I mean you don't want to be doing something like that. It's not motivating when you only got 2 customers in line opening.
Maybe they're not
time.
always just surging. Maybe they're not always like charging the customers. Maybe they just give certain ones something, like you do a countdown ceremony,
Yeah.
and then there's just something that they do
Yeah.
during the opening time every night, so they just know.
Right. So then it's there when you are busy and you want to create that synergy. And yeah, I like that.
You want to do your thorough pre-opening checks for equipment and functionality, like test all the lighting, sound effects, fog machines. Make sure somebody knows how to fill the fog machines. That's a struggle
The
that we had
difference
this
between
year.
the fog and the haze machines.
Oh goodness! Make sure they're putting the right fluids in the right machines.
Whoa, what is the difference? I've never heard of a haze machine versus a fog machine. I thought it was
So
all
the
one
haze
thing.
machine is a little bit lighter, so it's not going to like a fog machine. You see dense fog coming at
Uh-huh.
you. A haze machine, you can walk through and not even notice that it's there.
It's just for atmosphere.
And
You'll
the
have
haze,
like the lights.
The
The
haze
lights
machine
is what triggers
are
it.
laser lights will cut through that. The
Right.
haze machine. So
I saw
when
that.
they
I
put
saw
the
that.
when they put the fog
Going
juice
through.
in that, it's just it ruins the effect that
So
you have.
completely different
Yeah.
different stuff to use.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Same machine? Just
Different machine.
Different machine.
Different machine,
Yes.
It's at the
different
rate.
juice.
It's at the rate
Yes.
that they put it out. The PSI that it puts it out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any safety inspections, double check all set pieces for potentially hazard is out of the way. So in our case, we built up with a lot of pallets this year. And so we had to go through the week before and like make sure all of the extra nail pieces were taken off so that people weren't like bumping their heads into nail
And being stuck to a pallet.
Right.
We're like props.
That's we're just gonna
My
throw a
halo's
sheet
coming
on
in.
you, and you're gonna become a prop.
We have started implementing a fire drill, so in case of an emergency, everybody knows how to escape their scenes.
I think that's very important before opening night too, to know that.
Yeah, so before opening night, they should know what to do. So this is something you can do in the dress rehearsal, but in the case that there is a fire, your cast should know what to do. Assigning clear roles to staff members that, like you cast your characters, but you need to make sure that the people who are on the front end, like your ticket takers or your line entertainment, or if you have line security or you have security at the front before they come in, that they all know what their roles are and what they're supposed to be doing, and make sure that you're meeting with them before opening night. Because if you leave it to one person to meet with 50 people opening night, you're going to have the chaos that you're not getting, that, and it puts you opening late or having issues, so you need to make sure everybody, not just the actors, are doing rehearsals before opening night.
Well, it's not
There
only
should be a chain of command in your house. Also, you've got an attraction that you have 20 cast members in, and let's just say in scene number 10, you're halfway through the haunt, and all of a sudden you've got a cast member in there who's gotten harassed one way or another, and they're needing help, security. You don't want that cast member running halfway through the haunt to try to go to find a security guard. There has to be a pattern of a system in place so that they can reach that guard quickly, and they get help.
Right.
Another
Right.
thing,
Right.
I don't know how other haunts do it, but one for our haunt specifically is before opening night, we need you should have assigned who's getting radios, who's getting, and not, don't be like the day of just because so-and-so's crying that they need a radio. Like, no, you have assigned people who are getting radios. We number ours so that to check out. This year somebody else was in charge of it, so they didn't go by the number system. But then like, okay, number 6 is missing. So if number 6 doesn't come back in, who had number 6, you can go and find it.
Right. What's more important too is on your rehearsal night, whoever's getting those radios, that they know how to use them. Because one year we found out that there was quite a few of them. You just assume everybody knows how to use the radio or do a mic check or what have you not, and there's quite a few people that really do not know.
Yes, mic checks are very important. Everybody should do one. In our particular haunt, we have several attractions, and the radios that we purchase have different channels. Most radios do. So we put each attraction on a different frequency so that they can communicate within that attraction and not bother the others.
Right.
Otherwise, you get just too much chatter going on.
And then security has.
We always have security on channel 1, so that in an event where you're needing security, it's real quick to grab that dial, flip it until it stops spinning, and it's on channel 1 at that point, and then they know they're on security. And that's perfect for, if somebody gets hurt, or in the event that there's an unruly customer that's going through there, whatever the case may be, it's a real quick means of being able to get a hold of somebody. So that's how we do it. But
I think that if you have stuff that still needs to get done, you have one person that has a checklist, and have your people come to that person to get what they need to check your
Right.
stuff off. So you have a designated director. Like each attraction can have a director, but then you have one director that's overseeing everything to make sure that all of the checks are checked before you even open the gates. But somebody had suggested early arrival. Arrive early to set up and ensure everything is ready before the first guests arrive. This is where I'm like, okay, you can ask them to come in early, but you have to compensate them for your time. So you don't want to, like, what is a good time for people? Like, even for us, our haunt starts at 7 o'clock. What we expect them to be in their place before 7 o'clock, but we have a lot of times where they're coming in at 6:55, and like, how do you stop that? Well, you ask them to come in 30 minutes early, but some night we're not busy enough yet that we have at this new locations that, so I don't know, you're just in this weird gray area of how. Hopefully you're just hiring people that want to show up.
I just always tell people that if you're supposed to be there by 7 o'clock, you should be there at a quarter till.
Yeah.
It's the old Sam Elliott's phrase in the ranch. On time.
If you're early.
If you're early is on time is late.
Yeah.
And And I believe that. I think that, especially in an acting situation, you do not want the customers. First of all, if we got customers lining up at 5 minutes to 7 or 10 minutes to 7, we don't want them to see you walking through half makeup, half dressed. You're
Your
carrying
bag
all
full of
your
your
stuff,
makeup, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
It's just not appropriate to see that. And everything should just be sort of magical, if you will. Their first glimpse of our haunt, everything should just be perfect.
And that comes from training your cast, so you have to have the meetings with your cast before the haunt even opens. I mean, basically, it comes down to you have to put in the money with your cast before the season even starts.
So it doesn't have to be much, though. Like we've in the past have just implemented a quick dinner. Dinner served at 6:30. That way that we know that the cast is here. We've and something that I've thought we should always change in the years is normally we have our cast meetings after the haunt closes, and I am a firm believer that perhaps we should have them before the haunt actually opens. That ensures that your cast members are here as well, and it's not keeping them over at 1 o'clock in the morning. We're having a cast meeting. People are wanting to go home. They come in at 6 o'clock, 6:30, whatever. We have our cast meeting, a real simple pat on the back from, the night previous or the week previous, however it may fall. And, we get them hyped up and boom, they're back in their positions right at the time we open.
That's probably a really good idea. And if you have them here early for the meeting and the meeting ends and you have still a list of checklist of maybe fog juice didn't get in or whatever, you can start doing that kind of stuff.
Right,
to make sure
right.
it's
Now
done.
you got people in place that can help you to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, that's always kind of been my forethought is that maybe perhaps we should move that. That's just our
making
particular
sure
one,
that the actors know how to operate things in the room, even though you might be thinking like, my actor is not going to need to know how to work these laser lights. They just need to know how to come up through the haze in our swamp scene. Mm-hmm. Or my actor isn't going to need to know how to. He's not going to need to know that this yellow light and this purple light are here. If something goes down, the actors need to know where they're at and how to replace it or who to contact to repair. Or really, they just need to know this is where your electronic components are, and this is what you do if something were to happen. Because if you leave it all on one person to repair it, it's going to take hours for everything to get done.
Right.
So,
right. Because they do have a priority list that they go through. That we have, and we have found that problem. We've had for example, our primary attraction is a truck ride. You're on the back of a pickup truck. Well, I mean, if something happens to that truck, that's our primary attraction.
Premium attraction.
Yeah, so that is that's the attraction that they're going to work on first. In the meantime, a customer knocked over 3 props in the house, and we need somebody to get in there and put them back up. Well, where does the priority go? So what Heather's
making
saying
sure
is,
your cast is able to.
right, exactly. I think what Heather's saying is correct. I think that's necessary, that they need to be able to work together or
we
multitask.
had this year. We had a girl who went through and a cast member. I made these clown props, and she went through and like punched them. Like, you remember the old like punching bags? You punch the clown and then they stand back up, and you like little kids played with them. Well, I don't know if she thought that that's what they were or what, but she was punching them and they'd come down, but they weren't coming back up because they're not spring. They just look spring because of the tubing that we used, right?
Right.
But the character in that room. So I was like, well, why didn't you stand them back up afterwards? And she's like, well, I didn't know I was supposed to. So characters need to know that this is how your room is set. This is what it needs to look like. And if something happens, you have permission to fix it so that it always looks the way that the scene creator designed it to be.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because it's not always, usually it's not the scene creator that's in the room as the character.
Right,
so.
exactly.
Although we did do it for several years where the characters did design their rooms. And I kind of like that. They kind of take a little bit more pride in the room when it's that way.
And their costumes went better.
So the challenge we have this year with that, though, is that we did have several younger staff members. They had school, so it was a little tough for them to come out and designate the time needed to put those rooms together. Whereas when we were in Turlock, we were in a central location in the evenings. We had all the time in the world, really, for cast members to come in and do their rooms the way that they want. And I do feel that where we are now, we're more of a destination location. We're not on the regular path, if
Right.
you will. Whereas in Turlock, we were right in the middle of town, so they do have to come out a little ways for us.
I do like, but also you're in a permanent spot now, so your rooms can stay up and be worked on all year round by your upper management team.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not, so it'll get better. For those of you who have permanent spots, I mean, it's great because you can work them all year round. For those of you who have to set up and tear down, you understand the struggles of having the help there to help you design those rooms. But you have to make sure that the people who are casted to be in those rooms know how the design is supposed to look and know how the design is put together.
I would also say that in the making sure that you're ready for opening night, just be open to change.
Yeah.
We have a couple on our build team. Travis, I think, is really detail oriented. He has something in his mind, and he's gonna do it to detail. But the problem is that once again, we're 30 minutes after opening. Travis, we got to open, and he's like, okay, well, I just need 15 more minutes. No, we don't have 15 more minutes. So. And I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit, but realistically, you know what? The customer, we have this thing drawn out. The customer has not looked at our plans. They just know that when they're going through, they're getting the scares. They see props. They're going to be impressed with what you have. So be open to just letting some of the stuff go.
They'll
if
be
you don't
impressed
get
with
to
what
it.
you have if you're not making them wait forever.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean by it. I'm just saying, don't put more effort into your acting than the props, and you can slowly even discount the opening night, and most customers know that okay, it's opening night, and you can and Janice is real good at the ticket booth, just telling them, listen, we're working through bugs, and this is their opening night, so bear with us a little bit or whatever, right? And that way you kind of planting the seed, and then we always get people who come back and say, oh, you undersold it was so good, and whatever. So
Another thing,
I'd rather hear that than to have somebody come back and say, oh man, they could have done this better, they could have done that better, or whatever.
I'll offer, I say, hey, welcome to the Rancho Horror. No, I'm kidding. But I say, hey, welcome to the Rancho Horror, and how can I help you? And they say what they want, or hey, there are actors out there, or whatever. And it's usually on the opening night, hey, keep in mind, and whether it's 50% or 90% or whatever. Hey, like this year, 90% of our actors are new actors. So give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they're pretty good. Come back and let me know how you are, what you think. But know that if you come tonight and you come in a couple of weeks, I'm going to give you a discount so that you can tell me that if you've seen an improvement or what. So we work with them that way. But this last year, we had a lot of people come in up and say, hey, that was great. Just if those kids are new, they're killing it. You guys are just going to be amazing. So that was pretty cool.
So ideally, we want the whole. You want your opening night to be as good as your final night.
Right.
It's just
Right.
Your characters get more comfortable. It doesn't matter if they've done it for years or not. They're going to get more comfortable even with the people that they're. In the beginning, it's awkward if you have them next to people that they've never worked with before or whatever. So they're not quite comfortable getting into their creepy self yet. So it's. I think that it's just natural that it's going to be better by the end of the season. But I do think that the more work you can have your cast together before the season, it's going to help make that opening night a little bit better. Now, I also think that you should also consider, like she said, she does discounts of the thing. There have been times where I've just been like, hey, I've just given people passes. I felt like, oh, this wasn't the greatest hayride that we've done. So here's passes. I want you to come back and see us at the on closing night or at the last weekend, and then tell us how we did. And I've done it several times, and they come back and they're like, thank you so much for the passes, and this was wonderful. You guys got so much better. So just be prepared on opening night to hand out tickets before they complain. Just be ready to hook them up before they complain, because then you're going to keep your reviews good.
But you don't have to do that with everybody.
No, you don't have to do that with everybody. But if you'll know something's off.
Well, it's like that one time that the on the hayride it ran out of gas.
Oh yes.
And that would be an instance where you're like, hey, you know what? Use a pass.
Yeah.
Well, and see, that's another example of things that you need to. If you are offering a hayride, or you are offering, an excursion, whatever it is, like our Contagion experience. Or a lot of haunts do paintballs. you've got to make sure that you've got the gas for the vehicles or the diesel, whatever it is that it takes. You've got to make sure that you have the air for the paintball guns. You've got to make sure that you have the ammunition for the paintball guns. You do not want to be there opening night and realize, well, I thought I had 3 cases of paintballs and now I only got 1. And, you know,
that goes
there's nowhere to get it.
At every night, you need to know your level of what you have. If you
Yes.
if you don't have a pallet of paintballs at the beginning of the season, you need to check your counts every night.
Yes.
And you need to check them or have a person that
Make sure it's the right size paintball.
Right.
Sometimes
Yes.
you send somebody to get them thinking that they know what they're getting and get the wrong size.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we know all mistakes happen, but hopefully, we're, like I said, most of us are about 40 weeks away from opening night. So hopefully everyone has an amazing opening night in the 2025 season and gets a great haunt year. But if you have any tips that your haunt does for opening night, send us a message either on Facebook or via email at hauntafterhours@gmail.com, because we're always trying to give other haunters tips on how to make their haunt successful.
And I'm always looking for new ideas in the ticket booth. You know, we don't always have to give out free stuff or discounted stuff, but that seems to work. But if you have other thoughts or quotes or words of wisdom that you can share, please share.
Right. Right.
All right, friends, so I'm going to have to leave for this episode. It's been a crazy episode. But listen, we're in the swing of Christmas, and it's Christmas Eve. So we're all together on Christmas Eve. We were trying to do this on Sunday, which is typically when we record. But because of holidays, things just got crazy. But I got to go take my kids for pictures with Santa, so I'm going to leave now. I'm going to miss Gary's review.
Oh, you'll be able to hear it.
Oh, did I jump in front of Gary? I'm so
you
sorry.
just
I don't
came in
know.
and
It doesn't
started
matter to me.
I thought I was late and you guys all finished, and I was just like,
Oh, no, we...
I want to share my story.
We've been chasing dogs and kids out of here all afternoon.
Dogs, kids, and going off on tangents.
Yeah.
Oh, this will be good. I can't wait to
As
see
we
it.
do.
I do need to know, though, is the third one the same as the second one, or do we change a little bit?
No.
Okay. So before I leave, I'm
So
gonna...
watch 2 and 3.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will tell you, I will give this 4 stars.
Oh, no. It's probably the best one. Y'all.
Right?
No.
No.
No?
I'm normally all on board with movies like this, but not this one.
No.
All right, so on that note, Gary's going to be
Yep.
reviewing Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. I'm going to take my kids to see Santa, and I will see you guys.
All right, Gary, give us your review.
Oh, God. Okay, so it's this movie is the equivalent of, I guess, you know how they say what is it? Kicking a dead horse? Is that the phrase?
Sure.
Where you're trying to make something do something
Right.
that it just
Yes.
can't do.
Mm-hmm.
This movie wasn't good.
But it got a 4
So-
and a half?
So we got.
And I'm saying that. That's
Why was it not good, Gary?
there's a lot of reasons.
because number 1 and 2 was so good. They were 5 stars.
They really were, though.
And his he was just the level that he thought that it should
expectation.
reach. Yes, his expectations
This
were too high.
this was nothing to even do. So the same character, different actor, which is fine. Bill Moseley plays Ricky in this one, and he's a fine actor.
Okay, refresh me. Ricky's the youngest brother.
Ricky is the youngest
Okay,
brother, right?
yeah, I'm with you.
In the last one, so right now we're reviewing Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, tagged Better Watch Out, right? And the issue I have with this film is it took such a radical turn from the last 2 films that you couldn't even say these are supposed to be the same characters. It's like they just titled the character, this person's name, Ricky. Doesn't even seem like Ricky. And you could argue why, and we'll get into that. But it didn't even have the same feel as the first 2 films were fun. Like a lot of fun. This film felt like the script might have been 10 pages long, and they just filled it with filler. I don't know if you see any blood. Most of the killing is off screen. A lot doesn't even make sense. It's a bad movie. I'm sorry, but it is not a good movie. With that said, I'll still give it 4 stars, but
Okay, why the 4 stars?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay,
But I
I'm
don't.
gonna
'Cause
figure
he's
it
a
out
nice
with
guy.
you.
But I don't feel it's a 3-star movie. But I
Is it
sure don't
because
feel it's a 5-star movie.
Is it because you had expectations for it to follow the first 2 and it didn't?
Why
if it
I'm
would have
gonna-
been a standalone, would it have been a 5?
This couldn't even be a standalone film.
Oh.
It is not the characters at all from the first two films. Not saying actors. I mean, just the characters in general. That's not Ricky, and people will argue with me possibly, and you'll find out why. Why Ricky might be very different in these ones, but even then, like, no, man, no. All he had to do was say one phrase, and that could have been naughty or punish. None of the fun stuff was in this at all. All right.
Oh. Same director, same producer.
I didn't even look into that. I highly doubt it.
Oh.
This movie looks like it was made for $20. This was not a good movie. Okay, so let's start off. This is my first complaint. The film opens to a scene that is 2 minutes and 58 seconds, I timed it, of our main character laying on her back with her eyes closed. It could be a Polaroid picture. It could be a still frame picture. And that's all you're seeing for 2 minutes and 58 seconds.
That was a filler. That was a filler.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. This whole movie's a filler. This whole movie is a filler.
Yeah, I would have lost interest right there.
No, it was bad. And then, when she opens up her eyes, we hear this ear-piercing kind of like kettle sound. If some of you know what like a hot kettle sounds like a whistle, like an alarm almost kind of sound, just ee, and it goes on and on and on. And I didn't time it, but it went on for at least 2 minutes. And she gets up. Wait, where am I? Okay, buzzing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so her name is Laura. We find that out later. She gets up from the bed, and that's where we see Ricky. Ricky's laying in a bed, but something's different about Ricky. And what we notice is different about Ricky is the top of his skull has been removed and replaced with a piece of plastic, see-through plastic, so you see his brain, and there's screws and bolts all around his skull to keep his brain safe.
That sounds safe.
Okay.
So
how do we know it's Ricky then?
We're getting there. So Laura walks closer to take a look at Ricky, and all of a sudden Ricky opens up his eyes, and he has a scalpel, and he slashes at her, and she screams, and it's like the most ridiculous scream. Like it wasn't scary. And she runs out of the room, and she's running down a hallway, and she goes into another room. And I gotta tell you at first, we're in kind of like a hospital setting. It's very sterile, very gray. She runs into a room, and there's Santa Claus. And this is probably the best part of the film, was Santa there because of decorations and just the way it looked. Somebody did a really good job set decorating Santa's little corner there. And he says, sit on my lap. And she's like, okay. And so she starts telling him all what she wants for Christmas. She wants she wants skates, she wants blah, blah, blah,
this
blah,
is the same
blah.
lady that just got...
Their neck slash set.
Yeah,
same girl.
Oh.
So, but there's a reason why.
Okay.
And so then all of a sudden, Santa pulls out a knife and tries to kill her, and she wakes up screaming.
Oh, so it's a dream.
It was a dream. Turns out we're in a sleep study lab that's in a hospital, and let's see, she has leads attached all over her head, and we see that she tells the sleep doctor that she dreamt only of Santa for reasons. She didn't tell him that she dreamt about Ricky for reasons. We don't know why. But if we look over, Ricky is in the same room, and he's wired up just like she is. And he sure as heck does have a see-through dome on his head to keep his brain safe. Okay. It gets worse. So we find...
He's in a hospital bed.
Yes.
Okay.
And we find that this is an experiment to attempt to reach Ricky via dreams, as Ricky is in a 6-year coma resulting from gunshots he received in Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Still not sure why his skull cap is off. Okay, so the doctor asks her, if she would like to repeat the experiment. And she goes, anything for you, Dr. Newberry. Like she says it all sexy, but that never turns into anything. Like, I don't know why she said it like that. And then she's getting ready to leave, and then she says, I don't think I want to do this again. Even though, 2 seconds ago, 2 seconds ago, you were like, yeah, sure. He goes, well, maybe you should think about it. He basically tries to manipulate her into redoing the experiment. And she's like, well, maybe after Christmas. Everything's just falling apart so quick in this script. All right. So she leaves. And then we fast forward for about 10 minutes. Just fast forward. Because nothing happens. Nothing happens for 10 minutes. She comes into the waiting room. Oh, I should also let you guys know before she leaves Dr. Newberry, she opens up her cane, and we find out that she's blind. Yep. And so she leaves the room, and for 10 minutes, nothing happens. She goes into the waiting room, and she goes up to the lady at the desk. She's like, "Excuse me, ma'am, but can you tell me when my brother's here to pick me up?" She's like, "That's not my job." And she's like, "Bitch." And she goes down, and she sits down in the waiting room chair and just waits there. And nothing happens. And eventually her brother comes and gets her. Then they leave. Nothing happens. And then for some reason, they, like, show up to the brother's girlfriend, but it gets confusing because the girlfriend and her sister look almost identical, and at one point you're even thinking maybe the girlfriend's blind. It's so stupid. Okay. Cut to Santa visiting people in the hospital. So Santa's in the hospital that we just left, and he's going to different rooms, and he goes to the room that Ricky's in, and the Santa's drinking, because that's what apparently Santa's do when they visit the hospital. And he walks up to Ricky and looks down at comatose Ricky, and he's like, "Hey, vegetable, who's your favorite singer? Perry Coma?" And then, that's apparently enough to wake Ricky from a 6-year coma.
Oh.
And Santa goes, "Hey, you're not well. Do you want a drink?" And then we see him go, "Ah!" And I guess that means Ricky killed him.
Oh.
Yeah, Ricky just got up from a
With the
6-year
scalpel?
coma. With I don't know.
Oh.
It's that good of a movie.
Okay.
Then we cut back to the blind psychic, because at this point in time we're starting to learn that Laura is actually a psychic.
That's blind.
And that is blind, and more boring
With
stuff
a walking
happens
stick.
with a blind stick that kind of goes away at one point. We don't see the blind stick now that you brought that up. It was there, now it's not in the rest of the film. So, but she's moving around fine. So we cut back to the blind psychic Laura, and 2 more minutes of boring stuff, so fast forward through that, because it has nothing to do with the film. Then we cut to Ricky doing a walk to the receptionist. Receptionist doesn't seem to notice that Ricky's in a hospital gown with no top to his head, just a plastic see-through bowl. She goes, "Yes, may I help you?" Ricky picks up a scalpel that's on the side of the desk, because, that's where they all are at the reception desk, and he kills her, we think. Because all we did is see her go, "Ah!" and die. Then we cut to more boring Laura. So let's fast forward. Laura then is being driven by her brother, and at one point, it almost seemed like the lines got messed up, because it almost seemed like that was her boyfriend, but then it went back to just being his sister, and something bad happened there. No real script supervision going on. As they drive by the orphanage of Ricky's childhood, and we are brought back once again to the events of Silent Night, Deadly Night 1, where we spend the next 5 minutes watching a movie we've seen 3 times now.
Because it's flashback to the first movie.
Because it's filler and flashback, just like number 2. Cut to Ricky, present day. He's wearing his hospital gown. He's near a sign that says Highway 101. And he's stumbling around the freeway with his thumb out trying to hitchhike.
But wait, it was still the dome head?
Oh, yeah. He needs that to live.
And nobody notices that.
Nope. Nobody notices this guy with his brain hanging out. Nobody's noticing. And he's just walking around all zombified.
They've got to be in California.
All
Oh,
right.
it is. It's by 101.
Yeah.
101 freeway.
Oh, yeah.
So this guy comes over.
Makes sense.
And he picks him up. And the man is just not even taking into account that Ricky's missing the top of his head. The man's talking about how much he hates Christmas and why. And then as we're about to cut, he goes, "Hey, you get a head transplant or something?" All right, fast forward, more boring stuff. I didn't even count how many minutes, but we fast forwarded a lot. We're now at a gas station. I don't know what is happening, but I think Ricky killed the gas station attendant. It is that vague. We don't know what happened. Okay, cut from there. We're already halfway through the film, by the way. Cut to a house of an old woman setting a table with Christmas dinner. So it's the 24th. This goes on for a very long time. I mean, like 5 minutes. We watch her lay down these plates. We watch her go to the kitchen. We watch her baste the turkey. She then goes to the refrigerator, and she opens up the refrigerator and pulls out the cubes of butter, and she gets this really mad look on her face, like, ugh. We don't know what's going on. Cut to a different gas station. It's a different one, because that's where people go. At this point, I have no idea what is happening here either. So we cut back to the old woman. We're just at a gas station. Cut back to the old woman. Before her phone rings, she says, "Phone rings." Like she calls it. because we turn out she's a psychic too. And so this gives us insight that she's a psychic. And the old lady is talking to Laura on the phone. And it turns out Laura is at the gas station that we just saw. And she goes, Laura, can you get a few sticks of butter for Christmas dinner? Because we all eat a whole lot of sticks of butter on Christmas dinner, apparently. Just make sure you buy sticks of butter.
Lots.
Cut to the front door of the old woman. The doorbell rings. She answers it, and it's Ricky! Da-da-da! Cut to the hospital. The police are investigating the murder at the hospital. The police are investigating Dr. Newberry, where we learn that he has reconstructed the brain of Ricky after him being shot in Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, and that Ricky has been in a coma for 6 years, and he had employee psychic Laura reach Ricky telepathically via a sleep study for science reasons. Cut to the home of the old woman. She has Ricky set down at her kitchen table. She doesn't know Ricky. She has served him a plate of food and says, now eat up, it's good for you. And then, nothing happens. Cut to the hospital. Dr. Newberry is further explaining science to the police investigator. The police investigator plays surveillance footage. The surveillance footage has no audio track, but suddenly we hear Ricky say, in a ghostly voice, Laura. But he doesn't move his mouth, we just hear it.
Oh, telepathically.
Telepathically, which tells us that Ricky is somehow linked telepathically now to Laura,
Because
which
of the
is how
dream
Ricky,
studies.
because of the dreams, and that's how Ricky found Grandma's house, and he got to Grandma's house before Laura because he was hitchhiking.
I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm so confused.
It's a horrible movie.
I'm trying to catch up now.
Like,
I wanna
I'm
see
normally
this.
100% on board with movies like this, but this was bad. Cut to the dinner table. Ricky is still sitting at the dinner table. It's a long and boring part where Ricky finally gets up from the dinner table, walks to a black and white photo in the old woman's home. Later I realized this black and white photo was supposed to be Laura. I didn't catch that, but he looked at that photo for a long time. Cut to the Christmas tree.
Wait. Was there enough butter at dinner?
They're not even there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
and a matter of fact,
I thought
I
he
don't
was
think
eating
they ever got the butter, now that you said
I
that.
thought you said he was eating the dinner.
Oh, he was eating the dinner.
Okay.
There's no butter.
Okay.
Maybe it's why he kills her. So cut to the Christmas tree. Laura's grandma's there, and she picks up a Christmas gift, and she starts walking to Ricky. Here, this one's for you. And Ricky looks very troubled. And we know what happens when Ricky is troubled. We don't know, but she's dead.
We don't know how.
Nope.
But how do you know she's dead?
Because from outside the house, we hear a scream.
Oh, and then no more grandma.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
never
well,
see her
well,
body. To the best of my knowledge, we never see her body. She's just gone.
Oh, black hole.
Fast forward. Oh, wait. Cut to 3 minutes of Laura and her brother and his girlfriend, who I forgot to mention. I guess I did mention her, but her role is pointless. She has no other role in this film except to show her boobs. That was it. That is the only reason she is in this movie. 3 minutes of them talking in the car. 3 minutes of them talking in the car. And they arrive at Grandma's house. Fast forward another 4 minutes because nothing happens again. They walk into the home. You're like, okay, they're going to find Grandma dead. Nope. Okay, they're going to find Ricky somewhere in the house. Nope. Nothing out of the ordinary. So 4 minutes go by. And then you could stop the movie because at that 4 moments, it's probably the best part of the movie because we get to see that lady topless in the bathtub. I'm not
How
trying
did she end up in the bathtub at grandma's house?
because her boyfriend and her are taking a bath in Grandma's house. Never mind, nobody's asking where Grandma is.
Or where the
Never
presents
mind,
are.
nobody put the butter away. Nothing happened. And I'm normally not like a pig like this, but if you want to talk about the only good part of the film, that's it. Seeing a woman topless. There's nothing else better. Okay,
In that film.
in this film.
Okay.
Cut to the cop and the doctor. They're now in the car for reasons and discussing the psychic connection between Laura and Ricky. They both come to the conclusion that Ricky must be going to the home of Laura's grandmother. So the officer calls his station and does detective work. They don't know where Grandma lives. They don't know anything. They're looking into it. Okay. Cut to about 2 minutes of us watching a completely different movie on a television set in the home of Grandma. It is 2 minutes. I don't know what this movie is. Cut to about 2 minutes of... All right, then cut to I really don't know what, so we're going to skip that part too. Cut to the police car, and it's 2 minutes of pointless conversation once again about the policy of the doctor to not have sex with his subjects. Cut to a pointless conversation between Laura and her brother. Cut back to the police car for more science talk. Cut to the brother and his girlfriend who are outside calling for Granny.
After they had their bath.
Hi, Granny! After they have her bath. Why do they think she's outside? I don't know. Cut to Laura inside. I timed this. It was 90 seconds of her almost standing still once again, and all we hear is crickets. You never hear crickets anytime else in the film, but when she's in that house, we hear crickets for 90 seconds. Then she slowly walks to the front door, and near the front door there's a window, and she somehow sees Ricky, so I assume it's because of the psychic connection. She doesn't freak out that bad. Her and her brother and his girlfriend enter the home, and they say, "Hey, the car has been flipped over." Nobody seems too concerned about that. Laura rushes to the phone and finds out it's not working. No cane, just ran to the phone.
Exactly to it. Right to
Oh,
it.
she knew exactly where it was. I guess she knows Grandma's house really well, and Grandma's been nice to never move anything around for her blind granddaughter. No, that's not happening. Cut to her moving to a shelf. Oh, so she gets to the phone. She says it's not working. Cut to her moving to a shelf. She slightly feels around the shelf. She goes, "Look, my picture. It's gone." Cut to a gas station. Doctor and the cop find the murdered gas station attendant. So we know Ricky did actually kill the gas station attendant. Cut to Granny's house again. More boring stuff happens. Then the hands of Ricky burst through a front door and begin choking the girlfriend. And the brother tries to rescue her. And Laura says calmly, "It's no use." The brother tries anyways and stabs the hand of Ricky, who lets go of the girlfriend, so apparently it was of some use. And he retreats his hands out the door, and Laura says calmly, "If we stay here, he'll kill us all." Cut to the doctor and the cop driving again. 2 more minutes of boring stuff. They stop so the cop can pee in some bushes. The doctor, for some reason, steals his car. The cop is angry, and the doctor drives away. Cut back to Grandma's house, and they are packing up to leave. But then suddenly they're not packing up to leave. And the brother comes down the stairs with Grandpa's shotgun. And now they leave the house and are walking in the dark. I would also like to point out that the brother says, "Found Grandpa's old shotgun. Must be about 100 years old. These shells must be about 100 years old. Don't know if they'll shoot." Yep. So as they're walking in the dark, because the car has been turned over somehow, Laura senses Ricky. It's like a spidey sense. And Ricky jumps down from a tree and attacks them. They run. Ricky kills the brother with a knife. The doctor arrives and is all, "Hello, Ricky," and begins playing a tape of the scientific findings in the hospital. Ricky doesn't care and stabs Dr. Newberry dead. Cut to 2 minutes of more nothing happening. The girls are back in Grandma's house. Cut to Ricky now in Grandma's house. The girlfriend dies because of a surprise attack by Ricky, who was hiding under a bed. Blind Laura stumbles upon Ricky. Ricky is holding a knife. Laura feels his face, and that's what blind people do to see. Ta-da! Oh no, she realizes it's Ricky. Laura screams as she has realized that it's Ricky. Never mind that she saw Ricky through the window with a psychic vision or something, but now she can't for some reason. I don't know what's happening. She runs away. She does a really good job for a blind woman. She locks the door behind her. Ricky bursts through the door. She blindly walks to the basement. Ricky Frankenstein walks after her, because remember, he's still kind of messed up from the coma. Grandma then uses her voice from beyond the grave and tells her granddaughter that her psychic powers can save her. Well, it didn't save you, Grandma. And others. It can do good things for others and her, and she should use her powers for good and to fight Ricky. I swear to God, that's what happens. And now the battle begins. Laura has a staff, and she hits the only light bulb in the basement, making it dark. And Ricky enters, and Laura says, "Now we're even." There's a scuffle between the two in the dark. Ricky breaks the staff in half. Surprise! The brother is still alive and has the shotgun. But it doesn't shoot, so nothing happens, and Ricky gets the gun and chokes the brother with it to death once again. Laura seems unbothered by this, and she says from the dark, "I'm over here, Ricky. Come play."
Because she was blind, so she couldn't see him choke the brother.
She's
back to being blind again.
This movie's crap. She stabs Ricky with a broken end of the staff. The police officer arrives, more boring stuff, and the officer and Laura drive away. So nothing happened with her psychic powers.
Wait. The police officer arrived in what car? Because the doctor stole his car.
I don't know. He just showed up, and then there was an ambulance, and it looked like they hauled the bodies away, and then it looked like possibly it was Ricky, but they don't show his face, so I guess they're leaving it open for 4. I don't know. But so she never used her psychic powers. Cut to the very end as the car drives away. And as the car fades away, Ricky fades into view. And Ricky is in a tuxedo for reasons. And he says, "And a happy new year." Then I changed my star vote. It's 3. This movie was awful. I don't recommend ever watching it.
I want to send your review to the director and the producer of that movie. I want to know if that was the same director or producer of the previous ones. It couldn't have been.
No, it can't be. This had nothing to do with anything. The first 2 were so fun.
So how does that happen as a director? Like, oh, I'm going to just make a 3rd movie of what they've already done? Or
I think it was a money grab. I think they knew the first 2 were popular with the cult genre and people who like horror movies because they were fun movies to watch. They were entertaining to watch. They were absolutely ridiculous.
Keeps you guessing.
But it's a great time. Like if you think back to the second one, right? And Ricky and his girlfriend are in the movie theater, and they're sitting there, and he looks at his girlfriend. "What's this movie about?" And she goes, "Oh, it's about a Santa Claus that kills people." And he's like, "What?" I mean, that's some funny stuff. That's good stuff. You don't get that with this one. Nothing. No famous taglines like "Garbage Day" or "Naughty Punish." Nothing.
Yeah, it couldn't have been the same.
Don't watch this.
Yeah, I'm going to forward this review on to the.
Apparently, there is a 4 and 5, which we'll review next week, and it has nothing to do with 1, 2, or 3.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm concerned that it might get even worse.
It could be the best ever. It could be a 22 of 5.
Maybe. I don't know.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
That's funny.
It was awful.
All right. So, well, I guess at that, guys, if you're still hanging on, evidently we have... I don't know how we kept you. I'm not sure how we kept you. I don't know. Today's just not been one of those days. But we'd love to get some comments and feedback from you. So once again, it's...
Yeah, our family is crazy, just like everybody else is out there. I mean, you just see how we adapt and roll with it, and we have all generations and animals.
Well,
and you met quite a few of them today.
And normally we film in the evening when everybody's the kids are put to bed,
right?
The animals are
taken care of. So we had a fun little afternoon. I hope you guys did as well. Once again, reach out to us, hauntafterhours.com. And if you'd share us, we sure would appreciate it. And at that, we'll see you next week. And remember,
do it for the
haunt.